You ever get that gut feeling that something's about to go down, but nobody's saying it out loud yet? Like you're watching the offseason moves, checking in on OTAs, reading between the lines, and it just hits you. Something is brewing, something off script. Maybe not front page news yet, but the kind of move that hits you sideways when it drops. That's where I'm at with the Chargers right now. The vibes are just different. It's not loud, it's not obvious, but there's something under the surface, and if it plays out the way I think it might, it could flip the entire offensive dynamic this season. So let's walk through it, piece by piece. What's up, Chargers fans? Welcome to the NFL Playbook Chargers. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. This channel is all about breaking down everything you need to know about the Bolts. Okay, first things first. If you're a Chargers fan, you've got to feel decent about where things stand right now. This wasn't one of those flashy, throw money everywhere off seasons, but it was smart, surgical. Jim Harbaugh is clearly building something sustainable, not desperate. You can feel the cultural shift, you can feel identity forming. This is starting to look and feel like a team with an actual plan. And not just a reaction to last year's collapse, but just because the house is standing doesn't mean we stop improving the wiring. And if we're being honest, there's one room that still feels like it needs a little more work, and that's the tight end group. Now, I'll be fair. The room is in a much better place than it was 12 months ago. Remember last year? We were cobbling together names like Hayden Hurst, praying for a bounce-back season that never came. The vision was there, but the execution? Not so much. This year feels more intentional. Starting with Tyler Conklin, that's a sharp move. You're getting a reliable vet, a guy who's produced steadily, despite some, let's just say, questionable quarterback play during his time in New York. The man still managed to haul in over 550 yards in back-to-back seasons, even when the passing game looked like a car with 3 flat tires. Now, you drop him into a Jim Harbaugh system, which loves to use tight ends, and you give him a QB like Justin Herbert. And suddenly you're not asking him to overperform. You're just giving him a better environment to do what he's always done well. Think about it. Solid hands, savvy route running, decent blocker, and probably a top 5 quarterback feeding him the ball? Yeah, that sounds like a career year waiting to happen. And best of all, 1-year deal. Just $3.1 million against the cap. That's a steal. That's the value. That's also a sign that the front office views him as a short-term solution, not a long-term plan. Then there's Dley. And honestly, this is the dude who never gets the credit he deserves. He's not going to light up fantasy scoreboards. He's not going to trend on X, but you know what he will do? Seal the edge on outside zone runs, handle his business in pass pro, punish linebackers on chip blocks. He's the kind of guy you win with. And when he was asked to step up in the passing game last season, he did. Nearly 500 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a whole lot of thankless work in between. Now that we've got a more stable TE1 in Conklin, Dley can go back to doing what he does best. Bully defenders at the line of scrimmage. He's under contract for 2 more years. Still just 28. And honestly, the kind of guy you want to keep around for those nasty AFC West matchups. Then you've got Oronda Gadston II, and this is where the fun begins. Look, I'm not saying Gadsden is going to come in and drop 800 yards in his rookie year. That's not how the tight end position works in the NFL. It takes time. Usually a couple years to really develop physically, mentally, and schematically. But let me say this. Gadsden is not your average developmental tight end. He's got wide receiver feet in a tight end's body. At Syracuse, this guy lined up all over the field, slot, wide, H-back, and he put up back-to-back seasons with over 900 yards and multiple touchdowns. That's a legit production. He's not just a project, he's a high upside investment. And if the Chargers can slow play his development the right way, use him situationally, scheme him into mismatch opportunities, you might see flashes sooner than expected. So, all things considered, we're in a decent spot, right? Conklin as your reliable starter, Dley as your muscle, Gadsden as your future. But decent isn't the goal. The goal is to maximize Herbert, and that means stacking the offense with guys who can turn a simple seam route into a 40-yard gain. Which brings us to the whispers, the rumors, the possibility that just won't go away. Yes, and this is where trades rumors come into play. And let's start with the name that feels more like smoke than fire, Jonnu Smith. Now look, I like Jonnu. I always have. He's one of those eye test players. You watch him move, and you instantly know he has something. Great burst, smooth hips, solid hands. And last season, quietly had one of the better years of his career. 884 yards, 8 touchdowns. So, if Miami's really trying to move him, which it sounds like they might be, for cap reasons, it's worth at least picking up the phone. But here's the issue. He's 30, and he's on a one-year deal. That puts him in the same bucket as Conklin, another short-term, 30-year-old rental-type tight end. Unless you're planning on giving him a multi-year extension, which he'll probably want if he puts up another good season, you're basically just duplicating the same stopgap role. That's not the kind of move that changes your season. That's a patch, not a plan. Which brings us to the name that always gets people talking, Kyle Pitts. Now, I know, Chargers fans have heard this one before. Every offseason for the last 3 years, it's been, what if we trade for Pitts? And every time it fizzles out. But this time it feels different. For the first time, the Falcons are actually open to moving him. Not just speculation. There's actual reporting suggesting they're listening to offers. And if they're serious, the Chargers need to be in that conversation. Because as frustrating as Pitt's career has been so far, he still checks every single box you want in a modern tight end. 6 feet 6 inches, runs a 4.44, elite catch radius, insane body control, and still only 25 years old. That's rare. And while he hasn't hit his ceiling yet, you can make a strong case that the environment has been the problem, not the player. He's been stuck in a broken offense, playing with quarterbacks who couldn't hit a barn door and being misused in a system that didn't know what to do with him. You take that same raw talent and drop him into Justin Herbert's offense with a play caller who actually uses tight ends the right way, you might just find gold. So, what would it take? Well, he's on the last year of his rookie deal, a $10 million fifth-year option. That's manageable. Then you'd likely want to extend him. And that's where it gets tricky. He's probably not getting $20 million like Kelsey or McBride, but something in the $7 to $8 million range per year seems fair for a prove-it extension. And in terms of draft capital, Atlanta reportedly wants a day 2 pick, second or third round. Personally, I'm out on giving a second. That's too steep for a guy with his recent production. But a fourth? That's a yes. A third with conditions or compensation back? Also, yes. The fit just makes too much sense. You pair Conklin plus Pitts plus Dley plus Gadsden. That's your TE room. It's versatile, it's deep, and most importantly, it doesn't rely on any one guy to carry the whole thing. You can ease Pitts in, use him in red zone packages, slot him out wide, just let him play ball in a system that finally gives him the support he never had in Atlanta. And look, maybe it doesn't work. Maybe he never figures it out, but if there's one team that's earned the benefit of the doubt with reclamation projects, it's the Chargers. You've seen it with Dobbins, Poonaford, Christian Fulton. Guys who were written off came in and found new life here. Why not Kyle Pitts? So, what do you think? Share your thoughts in the comment section. I really want to hear your opinion.